Now, Donald Trump says he has ordered the military to be prepared to launch strikes against Iran if the Iranian government carried out or attempted an assassination. The US president posted on social media 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands more to immediately follow should the Iranian government act on its threat, pronounced in many corners of the globe, to assassinate or attempt to assassinate the sitting president of the United States of America, in this case, me. Well, the US is demanding a public statement from Iran guaranteeing the Strait of Hormuz is open and that ships crossing the vital waterway won't be targeted to ensure talks can move forward. Our correspondent Peter Bowes has the latest from Washington.
Senior US officials have characterized this as a wait-and-see moment, a sensitive moment in terms of relations with Iran following a week of frenetic activity, 2 nights, 48 hours of retaliation by the United States after Iran shot at 3 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, what we're hearing now from a briefing of a small group of reporters that was attended by a colleague from CBS News, the BBC's partner in the United States, and officials saying through mediators that a message had been sent to Iran's leadership, and that is that they are seeking a promise that the Strait of Hormuz is indeed open to commercial shipping and that there will be no more shooting of those vessels. Now, the latest talks are due to take place later today in Oman, led by the Vice President, J.D. Vance. Donald Trump has made it very clear that he sees that the ceasefire has ended and that essentially the memorandum of understanding that was agreed is no longer in force. But he has said that he wants these talks to go ahead. But what is very clear from the briefing by officials and the words of Donald Trump over the last few days, and that is that the Trump administration is running out of patience with Iran's leadership, and the next few days will indeed be crucial.
Peter Bowes. Mehran Kamrava is a professor of government at Georgetown University in Qatar and the director of the Iranian Studies Unit at the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies. He reacted to President Trump's latest threats on Truth Social.
This is not the first time the American president has made such threats. Let's remember that not that long ago, he threatened to wipe out the Iranian civilization, and he gave Iran a few hours. And that is precisely the way it is seen in Tehran, as bluster rather than an expression of American policy. And I think it's also important to remember that the reports or the intelligence reports that Iran is trying to assassinate the American president are themselves not verified and somewhat suspect. So the Iranians are continuing with negotiations, and so are the Americans, despite the noise surrounding the talks.
So what do you think could come out of the talks if they do go ahead today?
Well, obviously, the last couple of days have been a setback. Nonetheless, both sides are determined to make substantial progress on the talks. And the very fact that the American vice president and the Iranian foreign minister are in Oman is indication of the seriousness with which both sides are approaching the negotiations.
What do you think are the key sticking points at present, and why have we seen this ratcheting up of tension in the last few days?
The most immediate sticking point is navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. This is a leverage that Iran does not want to give up. And Iran is adamant that it has an administrative structure through which traffic through the Strait of Hormuz needs to go. And I think that's the most immediate issue. The other key issue is Iran's frozen assets and the issue of sanctions. So these are two of the most immediate issues over which there will be negotiations. The background to all of this, of course, is Iran's nuclear program, which has practically been destroyed for the time being.
What is the Qatari role at present in this? Because obviously they've been involved, the Pakistanis have been involved in trying to keep the diplomatic process going on.
The Qataris, as well as the Pakistanis, are playing the role of the adults in the room. They're the ones who are encouraging Iran and the United States to come to the negotiating table. So their role is quite important and key. As we saw, there was a very high-ranking delegation of Qatari diplomats in Tehran earlier, encouraging Iranians to come to the negotiating table. So Qatar and Pakistan are playing very critical roles right now.
And when we look at the attacks on some of the Gulf states this week, is there still a fear that things are going to be bumpy in the region, that there will be flare-ups for the coming weeks and months?
Absolutely. Everybody's holding their breath because the Iranians are determined to do two things. First, they're aware that they cannot fight the United States militarily. So they're trying to turn a military conflict into an economic one. And that means they would attack shipping and other energy facilities here in the Gulf. And then we've seen that the American president can be quite mercurial and maverick. And of course, he can attack Iran, and that would provoke Iranian counterattacks. So everyone in the region is kind of holding their breath and hoping things would progress meaningfully.
Mehran Kamarava, Professor of Government at Georgetown University in Qatar.